Hi guys, it's late September, so it's time for a plot tour. Everything is starting to look very autumnal here, but look, I finally got tomatoes over there that are just starting to go ripe. The colours of the plot have definitely changed. Everything's died back and isn't looking as leafy as it was, but let's see what's going on. The beefsteak tomatoes I don't think have got any chance of going red, so they're coming off for fried green tomatoes. I've got this myrtle bush which I stuck in here. It's kind of a nursery bed and it really needs to get planted out now, but it's had some beautiful flowers on it. There's some more that are coming, but there aren't any that are open at the moment. It's got a lovely scent and the leaves are this shiny green. For this time of year it's quite an unusual colour. I have harvested the sweet corn now, so these stalks are looking a bit poor, but the reason I've left them there is because this was a three sisters planting, so I planted borlotti beans down at the bottom and I'd left these on the plant to dry out, but I think I'm going to pick them now as I can't see them drying out any further. It's been raining so much recently. I think it's time to get them inside and finish off the drying there, so I think there's a risk of them going mouldy outside. And also in here I've got one spaghetti squash which I have got on my meal plan for next week, so I'm looking forward to that. I cut back the patty pan squash and I don't know if you can see just underneath it there's some calendula in there. I've also got muscari along the edge of the plot, so that's started to come up and it's looking quite nice and fresh. It tends to get a bit tattier over the winter, but right now it's looking good. And I've got some beans on here. These are beans that I also left to go quite large so I could save the seeds for next year. Again, I wanted those to dry out a bit. I think I could possibly leave them a bit longer yet. It really has rained all this week. I still haven't managed to sort out my chamomile path, but look at this quinoa. Look at the colour on it. Isn't that just, it's so pretty. I still don't think it's ready yet. I was expecting it to be a little bit more dry, so I'm going to leave it a little while longer. The ones at the front, they're still a lot smaller. We'll see if anything happens with them. And you can see there's lots of leaves now coming down over the plot too. And my neighbour is clearing his patch of garden too. I think they're planning on just stoning it over, but at least it will stop the weeds hopping over to this side. From this tree that is above me, there are lots of leaves coming down. So I'm not going to save leaves for leaf mould this year, but what happened last time, this time last year, was the tree just covered the plot over. So there was a natural layer of mulch there, and I'm going to let it do that again. And the compost bin. Somebody actually came from the radio to interview me about the compost bin this week. If I can find the link for that, I will pop it below. It was a really fun thing. This week is National Recycling Week, so it kind of tied in with that. And I did take a couple of clips. Well, Trevor filmed it while they were interviewing me. It went out live. I've not done anything like that before, but I really enjoyed it, and I am going to give you a look eventually of everything that's going into my compost bin. Hopefully that'll be coming up in the next few weeks. I just want to get the plot cleared down a bit now and get it kind of tidied away for winter, although there are still some things that I'm going to be growing. The nasturtiums are still a riot of colour, and I especially like this one here because it kind of climbed all the way up the post, and next year I would like to put something to encourage it to climb up the rest of the fence, because that would look like a really nice bank of colour back there. The fruit bushes, this was their first year in this spot. They didn't do amazingly well, but that's fine. I'm hoping they'll do better next year. We've still got runner beans on the go. I'm taking these now for the beans more inside because they're starting to get a bit big and stringy, and I haven't really wanted to come out to harvest when the ground has been so wet because I didn't want to trample it all down. This is my massive blue Hubbard squash. I don't know how I'm going to cook all of this. I have seen some bird boxes where they use a gourd skin to make the bird box. I think it was Jim's allotment that I saw that on maybe about a year ago, and I really like the idea of that. So that's a possibility, because there is a smaller, more manageable for eating blue Hubbard squash that I could open and save the seeds from. Because if you remember, that was something I really needed to do, because Mom originally gave me the seeds for blue Hubbard and I roasted them, and she had planned on having some of the seeds back, but I didn't manage to do that. last year. There are potatoes in here, so as I come to dig up the potatoes, I will pull out the grass that has jumped across there. And then I've got purple sprouting broccoli. There's actually 2 in there, and there's some leeks, but the rhubarb really spread into a bigger area than I thought it would. And I was reticent to pull it because this is the first year that it's been in, but once it dies back, I think I might take one of the crowns out of there to give this other stuff some space. This is where all the slugs are currently hanging out on the plot. So they are inside this plant, courgette. They're just having a good nibble in there, and you can see a few others did come up and they've seemed to have finished them off. I think it's too wet for eggshells to do anything at the moment, but we have had a lot of courgettes, so I might just leave them to it for now. I thought the patty pan were finished, but they are still going. They're never ending, and I'm thoroughly fed up of them now. And that's how we're doing at the moment. The plot is still producing, although things are definitely winding down. And some of the things now, especially the sweet corn and the beans, I'm gonna take those out so then the leaves can come down and cover the plot over, and it'll just be the area where I've got the purple sprouting. I'm gonna possibly put some kale in there and maybe some Swiss chard, but I did get fed up of that last year, and I don't know if I'm over being fed up of it yet. Pak choi will also do well at this time of year, and coriander will do quite well as well for the next 2 months-ish before we start getting heavy frosts, because it grows quite well in this cool weather. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.